The Obama administration asks Congress for $6 billion to fight Ebola in West Africa. How a Congolese performer is using music to raise awareness of HIV/AIDS in Côte d'Ivoire. And mission accomplished. The historic Rosetta comet lander sends back amazing images. Africa 54 starts right now.
Hello, I'm Lenore Moudou. Vincent McCurry is off today. This is Africa 54. The administrator of the U.S. Agency for International Development, Rajiv Shah, and other senior U.S. officials testified before a congressional panel Thursday about the international reaction to the Ebola outbreak in West Africa. Shah called on Congress to approve President Obama's request for $6.2 billion in emergency funding to combat the deadly disease. VOA Cindy Sain reports from Capitol Hill.
As the suffering in Liberia, Sierra Leone, and Guinea continues, with some 3,000 active cases of Ebola reported now, the House Foreign Affairs Committee praised the U.S. response to the crisis. But some lawmakers accused the World Health Organization of incompetence, including Ed Royce, the Republican committee chairman. He warned that the world still has a lot to do.
What has worked in the past to block Ebola, obviously, is breaking the chain of transmission. But without us doing that, Ebola will continue to spill across borders and economies will be devastated in Africa. Governments will fail. Tens of thousands will die.
Most members said they support providing the emergency funding the Obama administration is asking for, and also called on countries around the world to step up their efforts. Ranking member Democrat Eliot Engel.
As I have said, the U.S. cannot meet this challenge alone. Ebola is a global challenge requiring a global response. Fortunately, international efforts to control the epidemic in Liberia, Sierra Leone, and Guinea have increased, both in terms of financial support and on-the-ground assistance.
USAID Administrator Rajiv Shah said he had met with 65 burial teams on his recent visit to Liberia, and that these efforts are really helping to bring down the number of new infections to that country. He said the U.S. is also reviewing new options for protective suits for healthcare workers, because they are at greatest risk of contracting the virus when taking off the protective gear. But Shah rejected calls from Royce and others for a travel ban on people from the most affected countries.
And I think we're convinced that America is the signal decision maker. If we isolate these countries, the rest of the world will isolate these countries, and that will create a much different epidemic curve, and we'll all have to come back here and discuss how are we going to handle many, many, many additional cases than what we're looking at now.
Shah said the international community should also be prepared for the Ebola outbreak to be followed by a hunger crisis in the region and get ready to provide quick relief. Cindy Sain, VOA News on Capitol Hill.
U.S. Vice President Joe Biden praised African religious groups for helping fight Ebola by promoting safe burial practices. At the same time, health officials are asking for more support to contain Ebola in West Africa. VOA's Latika Hoke has the story.
When a person dies of Ebola, his body remains infectious. It has to be removed and buried by specially trained teams to prevent the spread of the virus. The safety practices are incompatible with some religious traditions, and that's where religious leaders play an important role, said Vice President Biden.
You understand the cultural difference. It's easy for an American or European to sit there and say, well, why are they doing it? Why are they burying somebody that way? Why don't they just understand? You get it, and you're the ones who are the most trusted. And so you've played a significant part in dealing with what is a cultural phenomenon in many places.
Biden made his remarks Thursday as the World Health Organization reported that the death toll from Ebola has reached 5,160. The organization says the real number is probably higher because many deaths go unreported. Liberia, Guinea, and Sierra Leone have been the hardest hit, but officials say the death toll is growing in Mali, The number of infected people worldwide has surpassed 14,000. But the organization also reports some improvement.
There is a trend now in Liberia showing a kind of decline in cases while being reported on a weekly basis. In some district in Guinea there is also a kind of decline, but in Sierra Leone the numbers are still very high. What I can tell you is we should stay still very vigilant because things tend to change very quickly in Ebola.
Health officials are calling for more support in fighting Ebola in West Africa. They also stress the need for flexibility, as the spread of the virus can slow down in one place only to flare up in another.
As we adjust our strategy to the geographic dispersal of the disease, we need more Ebola treatment facilities, smaller ones, but more located in a dispersed manner, more community care centers, more partners on the ground to staff these centers, particularly giving the critical management skills to safely manage these facilities. We need greater mobility for the teams, and we need money to pay for it all.
Officials say that implementation of safe practices in treating Ebola patients and disposing of the victims' bodies have contributed to slowing down the spread of the disease in some areas. Several organizations are preparing to start clinical tests of new drugs and vaccines in West Africa that could prevent new infections and save lives of the people already infected. Zlatica Ho, VOA News, Washington.
Now, President Barack Obama on Friday wrapped up a visit to Myanmar, also known as Burma. The president warned that reforms are still not complete 4 years after the country emerged from a half-century of military rule. VOA White House correspondent Luis Ramirez is traveling with the president.
On President Obama's last day in Myanmar, he met with opposition leader and Nobel laureate Aung San Suu Kyi at the home where military rulers once kept her under house arrest. After a friendly hug, a warning that the transition to full democracy has still not happened.
Much hard work remains to be done and that many difficult choices still lie ahead. The process for reform is by no means complete or irreversible.
Aung San Suu Kyi, who inspired Myanmar's emergence from military rule, is among those still facing exclusion. A constitutional rule bans her from running for president next year because her children have British citizenship, a measure President Obama criticized. The president also focused on the plight of the Rohingya people, Myanmar's Muslim minority who live in apartheid-like conditions. Clashes with members of the Buddhist majority have displaced thousands.
We are paying attention to how religious minorities are treated in this country.
The Rohingya issue is a touchy one for Myanmar's Buddhists, many of whom consider the Muslims foreigners. Aung San Suu Kyi has been criticized for not taking a stand on Myanmar's policy of denying them citizenship. On Friday, she was asked about resolving the Rohingya situation.
If you ask, how do we propose to resolve all these problems of violence between communities, between different ethnic groups, we've got to start with rule of law.
This was President Obama's second visit to Myanmar. His first was in 2012, 2 years after elections marked the end of military rule that spanned a half-century. 4 years later, it's still a long journey ahead to the type of democracy that Mr. Obama envisions in Myanmar. Luis Ramirez, VOA News, Yangon.
A U.S. grand jury is expected to announce soon whether Darren Wilson, the police officer who shot and killed Michael Brown, will be indicted. Ferguson, Missouri is on edge as everyone waits for the decision. Joining us now from Ferguson with more is VOA's Aisha Tenzin. Hello, Aisha.
Hello.
Thank you so much for joining us. Now, the decision can come any day, any time. Can you tell us what the mood is like on the ground?
The mood is not as tense as people expect or as I expected before I came here. I've talked to a lot of residents. As you can see behind me, the shops in this 1 mile or I would say even half-mile stretch around where the incident happened are boarded up. This is where most of the violence occurred last time. But I talked to a shop owner as he was boarding up his shop last night, and he said he doesn't expect violence. He's only doing it because everybody else has done it, and he doesn't want his own shop to be exposed. But the police here has reached out to community leaders and to activists, and a lot of people, including Michael Brown's family, have called for calm no matter what the jury's decision is. So hopefully things will not get as bad as last time.
Now, the jury's possible decision is dividing across racial line, according to reports. What can you tell us?
Well, it is dividing across racial lines. A lot of people that I have talked to, I listened to the local media reports, and some of them said that the black people are looking at it one way, the white people are looking at it another way. But there's also another element to it, and which is that some people are saying that a lot of people who are very active on this issue, especially on the black side, are not Ferguson residents. Some of them are saying that they're activists that are, human rights activists or race relations activists who've come from outside, and that Ferguson does not have such a divisive racial history. Now, that's only according to the couple of people that I've been able to talk to so far. I'm going to go around, talk to more people, and maybe we'll see things differently once I do that. But there seems to be a division along economic and racial lines.
Now, Aisha, some reports indicated that there might be a leak that suggested the officer might not get indicted. What do you know about this?
There have been leaks in the media about some witnesses who've talked to the grand jury, and the leaks say that the witness testimony, a lot of it corroborates with Officer Wilson's testimony. So people are guessing that if witness testimony corroborates the police officer's testimony, that the grand jury may not indict him. And the thing is that a lot of activists have been saying that they want justice. If Officer Wilson is not indicted, that is when police and everybody else fear violence might erupt, but they're all ready for it. Some local municipalities have told their people to prepare as if they are preparing for a storm. They've told people, they've sent flyers around saying stock up on food and water and medicine and prescription drugs. Make sure if you have old relatives that they're taken care of. Make sure your car's full. Make sure your cell phone's charged. Make sure you have car chargers handy. So there are fears that something might happen, but people are hoping that all this preparation will be for naught and that violence will not happen.
Now, quickly, the charges could be as serious as first-degree murder, or this could be found as a case of self-defense. How are people feeling about this possible decision?
A lot of people say they do trust the grand jury to make the right decision. However, they've said that there's a lot of political outside pressure on the grand jury, and whether the grand jury will be able to take that pressure and still do the right thing, we have to see. It is possible, as you say, that this is found a case of self-defense. However, it is also found that it is also possible that the jury may find that overwhelming force was used when it wasn't needed or warranted. So we are all waiting for that decision, as you know.
Okay, we'll be in the lookout. Thank you so much, Aisha. And that was VOA's Aisha Tanzim reporting from Ferguson, Missouri. Staying in the U.S., prayer carpets have been laid out under the soaring arches of the Washington National Cathedral for an unprecedented Muslim worship service. Church leaders and their Muslim partners say they hope the Jummah prayers that will be held in about 1 hour will send a message of interfaith brotherhood that counters extremists' use of religion to justify hatred and strife. The carpets have been arrayed diagonally in the transept to the side of the sanctuary so that worshippers can face in the direction of Mecca without seeing crosses or Christian icons. Now, we want to know what you think about Africa 54 and the stories we cover. Join the conversation on Facebook. The address is Africa54, and check out our headlines 24/7 on voaafrica.com. Coming up, raising awareness against HIV/AIDS through music. Stay with us.
What exactly is Ebola?
Can I catch Ebola through the air?
Are the people who have it contagious?
What is our government doing about Ebola?
What are the symptoms of Ebola?
You have questions about Ebola? Straight Talk Africa has answers. VOA presents Straight Talk Africa, Ebola. Knowledge is Life, a special town hall meeting with leading experts on the front lines who will answer many of the questions surrounding the Ebola outbreak. VOA presents Straight Talk Africa, Ebola, Knowledge is Life. November 19th, only on VOA.
Welcome back. It's Music Makers Friday, and today we're featuring Djak Munia of the Democratic Republic of Congo, who has been a widely respected member of Kinshasa's hip-hop community for over 15 years. His latest project, Donnons un chaos au sida, or Knocking Out AIDS, was recorded in Abidjan along with some Ivorian musicians. Djak hopes the song will educate the public about the severity of the HIV/AIDS pandemic in Côte d'Ivoire and beyond. Here to tell us more about the talented artist is Roger Muntu, host of the VOA's RM Music Show. Hello, Roger.
Hello, Eleanor. Thank you for having me.
It's good to have you here. So tell us about this. Donnons un chaos au sida. Let's knock out SIDA.
Exactly. Donnons un chaos au sida, like you said, let's knock out AIDS. It's a song, to raise awareness against HIV/AIDS. This project was founded, I have to say this, Lenore, by the United States Embassy in Ivory Coast.
Specifically.
Exactly.
Yes.
With a group of young Ivorians singing in local languages and French, of course. But it was coordinated by the Congolese rapper Djak Munia.
Who also sing in the
Also rap.
So let's take a look and then we'll come back for more. Here's Djak Munia, rather.
Yeah.
And let's knock out HIV/AIDS.
Yeah, frères et sœurs, la maladie du sida, un vrai fléau. Protégeons-nous contre cette maladie. Connais-tu ton statut de notre cas au sida? Yeah, Yere Sutra, Aye Sida Faga. Chip, pas de chemin, pas de musulman, pas de jugoudové. Beaucoup se retrouvent aujourd'hui des orphelins. Unissons-nous la main dans la mer pour mettre les sida KO, KO, KO.
Unissons-nous pour bannir ce fléau. Préservons-nous, le sida est en train de nous mettre KO. Combattons ensemble pour tuer ce fléau.
Donnons un chaos au sida. Roger, I have to say the beat is so interesting.
Oh,
it
it's
keeps
Coupé
you
de Calais. You can't go wrong with that.
Of course, Coupé de Calais
beat.
from my own country, Cote d'Ivoire. It's awesome. It's great. So we see that there's a, it's an area of artist Nash, who's singing right now. It's a very well-known rapper, a young woman rapper in Cote d'Ivoire. She's really good. So it really gathered a group of very, very interesting performers here. So beyond this project, tell us a little more about D-Jack. What do we know about him?
Well, beyond this project, let me just about this guy. This guy is really a caring gentleman. He raps and he called himself, or his style of music is conscience rap. He likes to educate the young people out there. This project was really important for him. I spoke to him this morning, and he told me, Roger, look, I believe that open conversation about issues such as sickness, death, health, and healing, is avoided in Africa in many countries, since to talk of these things leaves an individual vulnerable, to being seen, guilty by association with others. You know what I mean? So he's really conscious, really there to educate, and he raps about democracy. He raps about Ebola. He raps about how young people just lost today in today's technology and things like that. Right?
Yes. So then, looking forward, what's next in his career? What do you know, or what did he tell you?
Right now, he just arrived from Cote d'Ivoire, and he is working on his album between New York, California, and Washington, D.C. He's doing his second album, which he told me it's going to be an amazing album, so maybe we'll get a chance to show it.
We'd love to profile it. So quickly, what flavor do you think we should expect on this album?
On this album, this is a really good question. What he's doing now, as you notice, he raps. That's his style. He doesn't rap on American beat or French rap beat. He raps on African music. So now he's doing a quick mix of major artists, and he's doing a featuring with all of them. So that's
something to look forward to. Thank you, Roger.
Thank you
Roger, as we say in French. All right, and that was Roger Muntu. To learn more about Roger Muntu, host of VOA's RM radio show, visit Facebook and type in the keywords Roger Muntu. There you can learn more about the Music Man and his dynamic social-cultural show. Now it's time for a short break, still to come on Africa 54. Say hello to the surface of a comet. Amazing images from the Rosetta landing. We'll be right back.
If you've just joined us, I'm Mariama Diallo, and here is a quick recap of today's headlines. The military, civilian, and religious leaders in Burkina Faso agree on a transitional plan to return the country to civilian rule. In Liberia, U.S. officials established their first of 17 Ebola treatment units with a 100-bed capacity. In Gabon, protesters march against the president in Libreville, accusing him of lying about his birth certificate to qualify as a candidate in 2009. Finally, the Confederation of African Football names Equatorial Guinea as the host for the 2015 Africa Cup of Nations. That's it for today. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.
Welcome back to Africa 54. Here is what's trending. Bono has a mid-air scare. The philanthropist, Africa activist, and U2 lead singer and 4 friends were aboard Bono's private Learjet traveling from Dublin to Berlin when the plane's rear door plummeted at least 15,000 feet to the ground. The plane landed safely, and the 2 pilots only found out on the ground that the aircraft had lost its door and 2 suitcases from the luggage compartment. They told investigators that they noticed a rumble, but that they felt no major change in how the plane was flying. Next up, Earthlings. We've landed on a comet, and now there are pictures. A European probe that landed on a comet in a first for space exploration is safely anchored on the surface. And despite technical problems, beamed pictures 500 million kilometers back to Earth. The European Space Agency published an image of the lander on the comet's bleak, rocky surface. It says data showed the lander had twice bounced back into space after touching down on Wednesday. Now, that's just amazing. And finally, it appears President Barack Obama has incurred the wrath of a whole nation in the most unlikely way possible. The president was spotted chewing gum at the Asia-Pacific Economic Cooperation Summit in Beijing. Several times during the conference, Obama was caught on camera chomping away, including at his arrival on Monday. Chinese netizens took to social media sites to criticize the gum chewing as rude and inappropriate. Obama, an occasional smoker, has confirmed in the past that he frequently chews Nicorette to help him beat cravings, and that's what's trending today. It's time for the sunny side of sports, and here's Sonny Young with a look at a unique record. Sonny?
Hi, Lenore, and sporty greetings once again to our Africa 54 viewers. World records are a big part of sports. And in this segment, we spotlight some fun and wacky world records during Thursday's Guinness World Records Day. Turkish giant Sultan Kozan, more than 8 feet in height, and the world's tallest man, walked side by side with Chandra Dangi from Nepal, the world's smallest man. Kozan and Dangi definitely make for a world record duo. After that kiss from the giant Kozan, let's go to China and check out the world's largest line dance. In Tokyo, Katsumi Temakoshi is now the world record holder for running 100 meters on all fours. In Paris, members of the Moulin Rouge set a world record in can-can dancing, and they also provided the count for this Greek dancer who got the record for most times putting one leg behind the head in 30 seconds. Finally, let's give a sunny side of sports shout-out for Harlem Globetrotter Thunder Law with the farthest basketball shot backwards.
Yes, sir. Got it! Oh!
So good. Let's see it again. Nothing but net. And that's the sunny side of sports. Lenore?
I wonder how he did that. That was amazing. Anyway, thank you, Sunny. Be sure to watch for Sunny Side of Sports every Monday and Friday on Africa 54. And that's our show for today. Be sure to watch Africa 54 on our website at voaafrica.com. And for more news, tune in to VOA's evening radio show, Africa News Tonight, at 1800 UTC, and in the mornings to Daybreak Africa, between 300 and 600 UTC, Monday through Friday. Thanks for watching, and good night from Washington.
Yeah! Frères et sœurs, la maladie du sida, un vrai fléau. Protégeons-nous contre cette maladie. Connais-tu ton statut de non-cas au sida?
Welcome to the Voice of America's Newswords, where we teach you about words you hear in the news.
This word has to do with helping people after Typhoon Haiyan in the Philippines.
The U.S. military and the Australian government have deployed supplies and rescue personnel to the Calayaban and surrounding areas, and the U.S. says it is providing $20 million in humanitarian aid.
The word humanitarian means showing concern for other people.
The United States provided search teams, food, water, and medicine as part of its humanitarian help to the Philippines after Typhoon Haiyan struck their country in 2013.
Now, when you hear humanitarian, you will know what this news word means.